All of us are still hoping for India to bag their first medal at the World Athletic Championship after 2 long decades. It's still possible and we all know who can do it. The Olympic gold winner, Neeraj Chopra, he hasn't failed to amaze us in the past and has the competence to stand up to the expectations of the Indian fans yet again. Sundeep, Misra and Amit Kamath are here with me for the special show. Let's see what's going on in their mind before the big final tomorrow morning. Sundeep, Neeraj has qualified for the finals of the javelin throw at the World Athletic Championship. But please throw some light on the early days of Chopra as you have followed the career of the Indian athlete quite closely.
Well, I still remember 2017, I think 2017 Patiala Federation Cup, it's 41, 42 degree heat and he was still drawing a crowd, everybody was talking about him that this is the next champion, this is the big guy. He still had the long hair, still has long hair, even then he had, so we used to wonder how he's doing all of this. And I think it was 5:36 in the evening when the Federation Cup javelin event started off. I think Kang was there, the one who actually went to the finals of 2017 World Championships. And there was this competition happening between both of them at that point of time. And I could see people trickling in, most of the athletes were already there, He was a big name in that sense that, everybody was looking at him, that what he's going to do. And slowly you saw around 450, 500 people right at the back. It has a 2-3 tier step where people sit and watch. Right. That was filled up, on the left hand side. I was standing, that was filled up. Everybody was jostling to try and, find some space. Also afraid because it's not like a proper stadium. It's like it has a track and all and where the javelin goes, nobody knows. So everybody was being ushered off. That was the time when you actually saw the charisma, the character, the personality that he now has. But at the time, he gave a glimpse of all of that. I'm not sure whether he won that one or not, honestly, but he was glamour completely. And after the event also, I had an interview with him. So he remembered, and he seeks you out. Okay, I promised you after this. So, and then he was like 6-7 minutes. And we were basically speaking about I think Asian athletics that was in Bhubaneswar at that time. Also the London World Championship that came after Bhubaneswar. So he spoke on all of that and how, he's trying to become a better athlete. All of this, nobody knew that he would pick up the gold at Bhubaneswar, then he's going to go to the World Championships and have not a terrible time because he was still, getting up and figuring himself out as an athlete. And then the Commonwealth, then watching him at the Asian Games was a massively exciting time, to see somebody picking up a gold medal in that sense. So that whole journey. And today you see him right there at the step where probably, if he picks up the gold, then he becomes one of those very few select athletes in javelin and otherwise also, that rare group that picks up in the same year, picks up the Olympic gold medal, picks up the World Championships back to back. So it's been remarkable to see him, and it's going to be a massively exciting time in the morning when you see him competing again, and hopefully he's on the podium. Let's put it that. Yeah. Let's hope he's on the podium and there is a gold medal to go with it. So this is a great journey for him, and it's a great journey for India. It's a great journey for fans who are watching track and field. He's led a lot of juniors, sub-juniors into the sport. If you see a massively big explosion happening in the next 10 years, 15 years in javelin,
acted as a catalyst.
Yeah, you know who's responsible for it. There have been javelin throwers, but he's caught the imagination, and tomorrow, let's hope he gets the imagination, the dreams and everything. Everything is done tomorrow morning, fulfilled. And can he win the gold? Yeah, he can.
As you mentioned about his journey, we have his best 5 throws. Can we have the graphic, please? Amit, until then, I'm sure that even you would have certain instances associated with Chopra that would allow our viewers to know more about India's star. Please share some of your past experiences with us.
Hardik, Neeraj is a guy, I know, when it comes to athletes, there is the actual person and there is a brand that has been carefully cultivated around him. But from whenever I've been around Neeraj, from whatever I've seen, it all seems like he is as genuine a person as they make him out to be. I'll give you an instance. After he had won the medal at Tokyo, the JSW Sports, his sponsors, they hosted a massive, felicitation ceremony at Bellary. And Bellary is a place where you can only go by private plane, those small private jets. So it was a complete packed auditorium where there were other medalists from Tokyo on the stage with him, but Neeraj was clearly the cynosure of all eyes. Now, this ceremony actually ran overboard in terms of time, and the problem was you can't fly out of Bellary after a certain point because the airport has to shut down because there are no lights. So Neeraj obviously was caught up because everybody wanted a picture of him. Everybody wanted a piece of Neeraj Chopra, if you will. Everybody wanted their selfies, and the organizers were literally trying to rush him, to get him to the food banquet so that he can at least have a meal before he has to fly out or before things can happen. And I remember very clearly that there are like four guys basically cloistering him and taking him out of the like a very crowded place where everybody wants one piece of him. And Neeraj is literally jogging out of the venue, and suddenly he stops. He stops because he's seen a kid from IIS, one of those young kids from IIS Academy, who just wants a selfie with him, but he's too intimidated by the occasion to actually ask him for it. So Neeraj sees him, he stops, he makes sure that he picks up the cell phone, clicks the picture, hands it back to the kid, and then walks away. So that just shows you that he is a guy who the rest of the world wants a piece of, but he still knows that there is a certain section of people who that one moment will still mean a lot in the future. It's not just this. I was at Tokyo covering the Olympics, and as soon as he won the medal, uh, everybody was there to congratulate him. There were a bunch of people who asked him for his autograph, and when they did, the
Right.
thing about Neeraj is, rather than writing, when he's signing autograph, when he was writing the other person's name, he actually paused midway to ask that person's spelling. uh, that shows you the kind of pains that he takes even to make that one tiny microsecond of a moment he has with you special.
Right, Amit, rightly mentioned. But moving forward, going into the finals, it won't be easy for Chopra at all. We all know that in the finals we have Peters, Jacob, Weber, who could give him a very tough competition. Sundeep and Amit, let's have a look at the performance of the top 5 athletes in the finals. Can we have the graphics, please? So, in competition, we have Peters, Sundeep, Jacob.
I think the main thing here is, and it's a pressure point. It could not be a pressure point. You can take it either way. But when you come to a World Championship final, when you come to an Olympic, a Commonwealth or Asian game, not so much an Asian Games, but these two big ones, it does play on your mind in whatever loop it can, that the others have 90 plus throws and I don't have. It's probably that first throw that really settles it. I, for one, believe that, and we are looking at combinations of what might happen, in the final. But I just believe that if he throws a first 90, let's assume he throws a first 90, I think he'll throw 91, 92. That's the way I think it will work. For Anderson and all these guys, they have already done 91, 92, so in their mind they have achieved a certain target for themselves. Chopra is pushing himself to that, and that is where I think the difference would lie. For Neeraj to aspire for a medal is one thing, but he also knows that if he does a particular distance, which is 90 plus, he is virtually sure of a podium. You need 3-4 also to then score or hit 91, 92, 90 plus and all of that. So the competition heats up. But for me, it's a very, very clear thing. Hit a 90 plus and then the rest of them follow you. They kind of are under pressure. So that is where I think most of these combinations, or whether he's going to be on the podium, whether he's going to be winning a gold medal, all of that lies there. That's the calculation. It could go haywire. You could still have 87, 88 and still come out a winner. But this is what a field like this is showing us, that I think 91, 92, 1990 plus may be something that we are going to see tomorrow. And we hope that Chopra is right at the forefront when the going start off.
Sundeep says that Neeraj can hit the 90 mark. Amit, also let's talk about the athlete's composure. He seems to be quite composed on big occasions. The noise around him doesn't affect him much. Right, Amit?
Absolutely. I mean, he's a guy who, I don't think in Indian sport, at least in Indian Olympic sport, we've had quite an athlete as Neeraj Chopra. Maybe a handful of them. Like, you know, people who know when to peak at the big stage and get a medal. There is maybe a PV Sindhu who's gone to 2 Olympics, come back with medals. I think she has 5 World Championship medals. And Neeraj is now becoming one of those athletes. You might, you know, have all of these hopes, expectations, billion dreams, all of that. Your prime minister is tweeting for you, your chief ministers are tweeting for you, sports ministers are doing something or the other. All of that is happening. But for Neeraj, when the competition is going, you will notice that he kind of goes in a dark mode on social media. So he tries to, you know, get away from that. He cuts out any sorts of distractions. At Tokyo, we saw that he actually chopped off his hair because these used to come in his eyes when he was throwing. So he's that sort of a guy. He knows when to cut out the distractions, knows when to stay level-headed, and knows how to convert that into performance, which is exactly how we won the gold.
Right, Amit, that's very important, and Neeraj has showed it time and time again that he can keep his composure. Now let's talk about women's javelin throw event. Annu Rani, she finished in the 7th spot, and the Indian couldn't throw her best of 63.28. But was there a psychological factor involved behind this, Sundeep? As we heard from Kashinath, who is a renowned javelin throw coach here in India, he told us in a previous show that she had thrown 66 in practice. Then why not when it matters the most?
No, I think practice and competition are, I mean, it
That's
would be,
true, yeah, but
yeah,
still.
it's completely different.
Yeah.
I think it would also be very, I mean, I can understand what the coach is saying, but it would also be very silly that we try and compare competition with practice. A lot of people do massively big in practice, in training. You always see during track, okay, I've run this much, I've run this much. In Indian track, you always hear stories of 100 meters being run in 10:40, 10:50, 10:30, 10:26, you know, even 20 I've heard. But when it comes really to the competition, it just all vanishes. It just comes, I'm talking of men's here, at least the 100. Then suddenly it becomes 10:90 and all. But for Annu Rani today, I think there was a lack of energy. I don't know whether you felt that. But there was a lack of energy whenever she was on that run up. It was only when she was throwing you could see a little bit of it. But compared to the others, now comparisons can go anywhere they want. You can always say that, okay, fine, why are you comparing her to the others? Everybody has a different plan, everybody trains differently. But no, when you're on that runway, when you're on that path where you're going to step in and throw the javelin, sometimes your body language betrays a little bit of what's going on in your mind. Right. I think a lot of people would say if she would have thrown a personal best, she would have been on the podium. Yes. Question is, did she throw the personal best? No. Why? I think there was something on in the mind. Now, whether that was the pressure of the competition, whether it was the World Championship, whether it was the figures they were looking at, whether it was the excitement of the Japanese girl who was winning a first-time medal for Japan, all of this gets to you.
Yeah.
You got to cut that out. Whether she's capable of cutting that out, I don't know now, because this is 2 consecutive World Championships. Okay, she's got podium finishes at the other ones, but you know, that big time medal, which is a bronze even at the World Championships otherwise, is not happening. And then when you say at the end, after everything is through, that, you know, I'm still going to learn from this, then I have a little bit of a doubt, how much do you want to learn? Okay. It's easy for us to sit here and talk about it. It's very difficult for an athlete to do it. But at the end of the day, you still got to sum up. My sum up is that there was something lacking today. What was that? Probably the coach needs to figure out, the athlete needs to figure out, and probably that is the path for her. And let's hope in the Commonwealth Games there is some form coming back, and that would be wonderful for her, because everybody wants her to do well. I mean, she is talented, there is no doubt about that. I really hope she's on the podium, honestly.
Right, Sundeep, she couldn't do it this time, but we hope that she could make it in the Commonwealth Games. Amit, let's quickly have a look at the 400-meter women's sprint final results. Miller-Uibo has completed her set, Amit, after winning the gold at WAC. Amit, how big of an achievement is this for the athlete, Amit?
It's absolutely massive, because for her, I think this is one of those last remaining medals. She's an under-18 world champion. She's been an under-20 world champion. She's been a world indoors champion. So this was, she's also been two-time Olympic champion. So this was just one of those things that was remaining. And as you would have expected, after she's won this, she's already announced that she's going to now focus on the 200 meters. So you can expect her to start doing, start breaking down new barriers there also. So for her, it was obviously a massive deal.
Right, Amit. Sundeep, and also how can we not talk about the 400-meter men's sprint? We also what happened in it. Michael Norman won it by surpassing Kirani James in the final stages of the race. You are a close observer. Where did Norman go right and James faltered, Sundeep?
I think he just wanted to win. I think, and you look at the way he's come up. He not only faltered, but he was not there in Tokyo in terms of the podium in Doha. All of that was playing on his mind. And since 2013, US has never won this. So this is the first time you have an American winning a 400 flat, out there. He's somebody who has massive amounts of talent, massive amount. He's already out there. He's got a timing that's very big. It's very big. Kirani James, as we spoke on that day, I mean, he was my emotional pick. Okay, he's 2011 world champion, 2012 London Olympics champion. So it would have taken a massive amount out to beat Norman. It was just not the age; it was also how hungry you were. It's not that Kirani wasn't. Norman was hungrier.
He almost won it, but in the end, Norman did it what he did.
The finish, the finish was of a younger man. The finish was of somebody who really wanted that gold medal. Okay. But, so the last 30-40 is where, and in the last 80, that's where you saw Norman really picking it up.
Yeah.
It's great Norman won. It was something that was supposed to happen for him, and every track fan, every track person out there in America otherwise would be highly delighted that this man has won the 400 gold.
Yeah, we could see it today, Sundeep. Amit, also let's talk about another record that was broken on day 8. Sydney McLaughlin created history by winning the women's 400-meter hurdles event in just 50.68. She did it with a lot of ease, Amit. Is she one of the greatest?
Hardik, let me just try and put that 50.68 into context. She obviously did it in 400-meter hurdles. But if she runs
50.68,
if she runs 50.68 in a regular 400-meter women's race in 2022, she is 19th in the all-time 2022 start list.
Wow!
So that's how fast she was. The fact that she had to go over, I think, 10 hurdles is testament to how fast she actually ran. The distance that we saw between her and Femke Bol of the Netherlands is obviously a testament to how good that pace was. And if you ask me that is she the greatest of all time, she's just 22. So there is a lot of track left in front of her to run.
Right, Amit, true. There will be a lot of opportunities for her. But Sundeep, as Amit mentioned, that if she runs in a 400-meter event, so is that a possibility that she could switch events, and what lies in front of her now?
I think what you've been seeing, and as Amit said earlier, of Uibo, shifting distances to 200, which probably is something that she always has said over the years. It's my favorite. I really love the 200. I think there's a sudden shift in the way athletes are thinking. It really never used to happen earlier. You look at the 70s, 80s, 90s and even later, you really never had so much shifts happening from the 400 hurdles or the 400 flat to something else. Michael Johnson used to do the 200 and the 400, fine. Those were the two events, but you never heard him say that I'm going to go to the 100, which is not a possibility for a lot of people. The 100 is a very different event. But now you're seeing this. I think also there's this thing playing on, like if you really look at the age, as Amit pointed out for McLaughlin, they now want to do more. So the 400 hurdles, you already taken the Olympic gold and the World Championships. So my point is, why do you want more of that? So you shift. Now for somebody who's doing the 400 hurdles, already has the strength, endurance and everything, which includes the sprint. For her to shift to 400 flat is not going to be massively difficult, probably much more easier if you really look at it that way. And she's going to create records there. You saw a decathlete coming into the long jump, winning the bronze medal, I guess. You see these shifts happening now slowly over and over again. You see it more in the heptathlon also. But over the next 5 years, 10 years, this thing about younger people coming in, winning a U18 when they're 16, and the U18 and then the U20 and then picking up an Olympic gold medal at 21, 22 or a world championship at 23, you still have 7 years of good running. So what do? You don't want to keep doing the same thing. And if you have that strength, which she has, she will of course shift to the 200, she will of course shift to the 400 and probably collect something that can make her a legend. She has the right attributes, she has this massive talent. I mean, like, you look at the way she runs, I mean, it's so beautiful to watch. You can just keep watching all those. And this is the way normally you'll now see a lot of shift happening in terms of athletics.
Before we wind up, Sundeep and Amit, we have a reaction after Neeraj's qualification. Let's have a look at that. And quickly, please tell us your predictions for tomorrow. Sundeep.
Well, this is what we're going to see tomorrow. I hope he still gets a first throw in.
Yeah.
And but I'm still going by simple logics of, you know, distances thrown, pressures that built up. For me, it's a 1, 2, 3. 1 Peters, 2 Chopra, and 3 could be anyone who comes into that occasion. You see so many of them coming so late into the 3rd place. You see so many of them coming so late into the 2nd place. But I think it's a 1, 2. I think Neeraj would do fantastically well in a field like this to pick up a silver, and that would be fantastic.
Amit, what's your call?
Yeah, I think Neeraj, obviously, I'm predicting him to become the 2nd athlete from India ever to win a World Championships medal. What color, I don't know. If it all depends on how well he throws, what distance he throws, and how the others are throwing, obviously. But I'm predicting Anderson Peters, Neeraj, and Jakub Wadlec, who was the Tokyo Olympics silver medalist, to be the top 3. I don't know what order, but I'm pretty sure that they will finish in the top 3.
That's it from this show. Thank you so much, Sundeep and Amit. All eyes will be on Neeraj Chopra tomorrow morning at 7:05 to be precise. Don't miss it. Also, we'll be back with the review, so don't miss that as well. Like and share this video if you found our analysis to be interesting. This is Hardik Agrawal signing off.